Hey guys. Okay, so this is weird because there is no live streaming allowed, but NBC 10 has the Zoom link. So I guess this is the only way we're going to get to see it. And they said that whenever it started, it will start. So please mute yourself upon entry into the hearing. I guess that doesn't apply to us, right? They're not going to hear us or me, whatever. Hey, Jennifer. I popped into RA's earlier to see if you were there. Justin's dad got on the stand and told the judge that um, Matthew needed an exorcism. I was like, yes, amen. Oh, you were? I typed your name in and it didn't pop up, so I didn't think you were there. I was like, oh my God, I have got to talk to Jen. I was like, yes, that's exactly what he needs. I was like, I said that early on in the case too, just looking at him. I was like, that's demonic. Even before he talked about the satanic house or whatever, I said that. Just that look on his face was, oh, scary, creepy. Yeah, that's what I thought, because that's where I met you. Which is another reason I love you so much, because you come over here for me and then you still go over there. It's so sweet. I miss it over there, but I can't, I can't do both. And then when we have short days for whatever reason, and RA just court hops, I forget sometimes. I'm like, dang, I should have been over at RA's. He's just court hopping, but at least I'd go over there and see my friends over there. I was here and then I thought I wasn't here and then I left here, but now I'm back. Well, I'm glad you're back. Well, where's RA now? Did he quit early for the day? I mean, not that I'm complaining you're here. I love that you support me. You're not green anymore. He quit early today? He's not doing, why isn't he, is he not doing the wrongful death trial stuff? I'm ready for the defamation. I wonder if we're going to get to see that though, because I think they're stupid to do this. I mean, this is the wrongful death hearing, but I can't wait for the defamation suit stuff. Although I doubt we're going to get to see any of that. That's probably always going to be closed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I cried. I think that's the most I've ever cried at a victim impact statement. Hey! Haven't seen you in forever! How are you, girl? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't really like the landlord tenant stuff. I sometimes I'd watch it and then I wouldn't finish watching it because I'd be like, this is depressing. And then I just quit watching it altogether. Yeah, her dad, Amber's dad, is what broke me. Yeah, I've been very fortunate because my dad, I lived with him till I was 33. That's what I was telling everybody earlier. The reason why Amber's dad broke me so bad was because, he was talking about taking Amber and her friend places. That's what my dad did. My mom died when I was 21, so I was older. But still, he took me and my friends places to theme parks and dinner theaters and all over the place, even though I was a young adult and not a little kid. And I guess, and my dad's gone now, so I guess that, the combination of the two, him being sad about his daughter and me with my dad. And so it broke me. I was bawling. And so I lived here. He built the house after my mom died, and I moved in with him, and he put me through nursing school. And then I got a job like 5 minutes from this house, so I just never moved out. And then he got sick, so I stayed here taking care of him for I don't remember how long. And then I got a job in Gainesville, which was like 45 minutes away. So I moved to an apartment in Gainesville, and it was too peoply in Gainesville. I was used to being out here in the country. So I moved next door, put a trailer off my dad's property next door. And by then, his girlfriend had moved in, and then they got married not long after that. And then when he died, she stayed here for a couple of years, and then she moved out, and so now I'm back in the house. So, and I inherited this house, so um, I'm very fortunate that I've always had a roof over my head, and not had to worry about it. Um, and then when he died, he left me his life insurance instead of like a lump sum. He did it in monthly payments. He set up like a trust. So I would have enough money to pay my more if anything happened to me, um I would have a monthly payment that was enough to cover my mortgage payment plus some. It was like a couple hundred over um my mortgage payment. Yes. Because at night, sitting there at night, like every noise I heard, I was like, what's that? There's somebody outside. Of course, it wasn't nefarious, but when you live out in the country and you don't hear people outside your home at night, every sound is like, oh my God, who's outside? What are they doing? Why are they outside my house? Yeah, I wanted back in this house so bad because I liked my trailer, but I hated going up and down steps for everything. It's like groceries. You grab 3 or 4 bags, up, down, 3 or 4 bags, up, down. I want to be where I can just walk into my house. I'm tired of going up and down steps for everything. Oh, And then in a trailer too, when you walk, everything rattles. I had a china cabinet that every time you walk past the china cabinet, everything rattled. It was like, why is the house shaking? Why is the house shaking? So, and then too, in Florida with the hurricanes, you don't want to live in a trailer. So, like before I got married, if we had a hurricane, I would come stay over here with Dad and my stepmom because I was like, I don't know if something's gonna pick up that. I mean, it was tied down, but still, it's a trailer. I don't want the wind to pick up my house while I'm in it. But now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm in a house with a foundation. So, and now we have a generator, so I don't have to worry about the electricity going out anymore. Judy, I love Judy to death. Judy is my rock. Every hurricane. And I won't even, and she names them. She says it by name. Are you ready for, instead of are you ready for the hurricane? She says, are you ready for, and she says the name. And at first I'm always like, who? Judy's always looking out for me. And I'm like, yes, I'm always ready. I live in Florida. I'm always ready. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Because I was saying earlier, because we were talking about the Lance family, both of their sons. What a tragic life. But I guarantee you, both of those boys had schizophrenia. And well, I'm not diagnosing them. I am a nurse, but I can't diagnose. But they appear to have schizoaffective disorder or schizophrenia or something like that. I cannot diagnose because I'm a nurse, I'm not a doctor, and I've never seen them in person. But I'm just saying, as a medical professional and observation of other patients with their disorder, I'm not diagnosing. No one say I diagnose them because I'm not. I'm just saying, in my experience, they remind me of patients that have schizophrenia. Um, and it's sad. Like their parents are victims too. They've lost both their sons. And then someone, I can't remember if it was Wiggles or Nichelle. I wasn't making fun of you, Judy. I love you and I love that you worry about me. That was not a slight at all. Not at all. I love that you worry about me. I mean, I don't mean to worry you. I didn't mean it that. See, now I do not say what I mean. It always comes out of my mouth wrong. I love you, Judy. I love that you care about me enough to ask me if I'm ready for the hurricanes. Right. It's my opinion. My opinion. And someone mentioned Steven Stainer. He got kidnapped as a little boy, and then he escaped. The guy kidnapped another little boy. Yeah, yeah. And the guy kidnapped another little boy, and then Steven escaped and helped the other little boy escape too. And but it ended up that Steven Stainer's older brother ended up being a serial killer. That family, you know, they suffered the kidnapping of their son, who then comes back, but then has all this PTSD and stuff. And then he got killed in a motorcycle accident. And then their other son was a serial killer. So like, you might think you have the crappiest life ever, but then you see something like that and you think, I got a pretty good life compared to that, So everything is relative. So you really have to stop and think before you complain about something. Everything is relative. And I am extremely blessed. I've been through cancer twice. I have chronic illnesses and I'm on disability. But I've got food in my belly, a roof over my head, a husband that loves me, lots of friends, virtual, but you guys are real and you really care about me. You're here every day. Listen to me just ramble on about nonsense. You know, I, the other day, I was like, you are not, did a bot make these for me that are right here within hand's reach for me to grab every day? Aren't these pretty? Wiggles made these for me. Oh, Michelle, I love you too. Well, I'm a much happier person, I think, than if that stuff hadn't happened to me. Because I'm just glad that I'm alive. I had, I was depressed all the time. I had extreme low self-esteem. I didn't want to, well, I still kind of don't like leaving the house, but I do now. Um, I was just a shell. Like I did nothing. I was upset and depressed and crying all the time. And I'm just, I'm just so glad to be alive that I'm just different now. So I don't know. Yeah, it did. It did. It made me a different person. And God is so good because Travis and I got married. My cancer was in 2014. We got married in 2007, and he had the hardest time finding a permanent job. When he first moved up here, he was an industrial worker. So he lived in just just south of Lakeland. I don't know if you know Lakeland, Florida. Is big. Well, Polk County, you guys have seen, I'm sure you've seen, Sheriff Grady Judd, his press conferences. He does them on YouTube, and they're usually hilarious because and he holds up pictures. He always has pictures of the subject or the victim or something. Um, in fact, I think we saw him in what was his name? The kid that killed his mom? Grady, yeah, yeah. That's where Travis is from. Grady was yeah. Um, he was the lead cop on Travis's mom's disappearance case, which then turned into a murder case, but they never could prove that his dad did it. He was the lead guy on that case. He is awesome. I love him. He's awesome. But that's where Travis is from, down there. So when Travis, he was an industrial worker. On our first date. I'm like, "What do you do?" And he goes, "I'm a rubber liner." I'm like, "What the heck is a rubber?" He used to get in big fertilizer tanks. He got inside of them, and they used a chipper hammer to get like the old. He had to wear like this giant hazmat suit. I would have been so claustrophobic. I would have freaked out if I had to do that. And they used a chipper hammer to get like the old fertilizer and stuff out. and then they had this like a spray thing that sprayed rubber on the walls to protect from the new fertilizer that they put in there to keep it from eating through the walls of the tanks. That's what he did for a living when I met him. So when he moved up here, he had a really hard time finding a job, and he would work like temporary jobs or seasonal jobs or whatever, like on the farms. And because I live out in the country, on the farms and stuff up. He worked at some kind of a nursery. He worked at a farm building cow calf or cow cages or something. I don't know. He did all kinds of stuff, but just um very short term type. Nothing was long term. So then when I got cancer, the whole entire time, the first time I had cancer, he was there for everything. Every chemo, every surgery, because he had to take me to my radiation appointments every single day I had to go. He drove me every day. He was there for absolutely everything. I was like, God is so good. I didn't have to do anything alone. And Dad, he liked Travis, but my dad was old fashioned. And so he didn't really like that Travis wasn't working. But Travis, his whole like retirement 401k or whatever he had for retirement, he spent all of that to take care of me. Like we have nothing now because when I was out of work and sick, because before I got my disability, I had to wait. I think it was like 2 years from the time I applied to the time I got it. And we went through my retirement and his retirement because he had a 401k from that industrial job. So he took care of me, even though he didn't have a steady job. He took care of me. Um, and then we had to. Now his brother's married, so we were on food stamps for a little while and still needed food. He would go and wait in line at the food bank to get food for us because I was sick. I mean, he took good care of me. So I don't know why Dad had a problem with it and he was trying to get a job. Yeah, he takes good care of me, really good care of me. And I have no money to get him anything for Christmas. So, and the stuff he wants is like his hobby is RC cars. So there's a couple things he wants that I can't afford. He's like, just give me the money for half of it and I'll go get it myself. I'm like, okay. And then he's getting me like an $800 scooter for Christmas. And we found out this is another God thing. It's so cool. One of my friends that I I know from he's a Disney streamer, but I've actually gotten to meet him. Um, I met him at the parks one day when I was down there. Well, Travis met him too. Travis found this scooter on a site called Spin Life. He found the site all by himself. Didn't I don't know anything about scooters. He doesn't know anything about scooters. He just came across this site, and that's where he's been looking at for the scooter. And we found out last weekend that my friend has like a deal with this scooter company where we can get 10% off with his code. And we didn't even know that. So I was like, praise the Lord, because that's a God thing because we had no idea whatsoever. So and that's not a lot of 10% is not a big discount, but when it's an $849 scooter, that's gonna make it 700 and something. It's not like that's almost $100 off. Yeah, I thought about that. I asked him because the place that he orders his RC car stuff from is called DDM. It's an acronym for something. I don't know what it stands for. something motors. And I said, can I just get you like a gift card from there or something? He goes, no, just give me the money. And well, one thing he wants is at Harbor Freight, and it's like a thing to clean parts in. Which the way he describes it, you know those little jewelry cleaners that are like sonic cleaners that like you put your jewelry in and then it like moves or rotates or something and it cleans the jewelry. I think it's kind of like that, but it's for car parts. I don't know. And it costs like $100 and something dollars. 100 and he loves Harbor Freight. I usually stay in the car and don't go in with him. Maybe I need to start going in there with him. They changed door. Well, I did go in there with them once, and it was so cramped in there, but they changed doors. So maybe now that they're in a bigger building, it won't be so bad. I was just like, you can't even walk in here. Everything, I was knocking stuff off shelves, and there was like no walking room. Maybe that's probably why they changed to a different store, so they have more room. Yeah, I like to go in when he goes into um, Rural King and Bass Pro Shop. They're awesome. I like those two stores. He doesn't go there as much as he goes to Harbor Freight. He goes to Harbor Freight a lot. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you don't see that very much anymore. You know what I found out about Disney? I know I talk about Disney a lot, y'all, but you know what I found out about Disney yesterday? Is it yesterday? Yeah. They actually have people that are employed just to watch people. Like, they don't have a duty, like trash pickup or ride control or what. They just watch people because no one is allowed to be sad. Like if a kid drops an ice cream cone and cries, they're expected to get another ice cream cone and give it to the kid for free. Or if a kid lets a balloon go and cries and gets upset, they're supposed to give the kid another balloon for free. I was like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. How does a kid learn consequences if you just give them another one? That didn't happen when I was little. It was like, oh, you shouldn't have let go of it. What'd you let go of it for, Debbie? You shouldn't have let go of it. I told you not to let go of it. But yeah, Disney has pretty good customer service. You gotta give them that. So are they gonna zoom this thing or what? What time is it? It's 2:30 already. Somebody's asking for an update. Somebody named Alessi Girl. Oh, there's lots of trolls in here. Well, what? No! Why? That's ridiculous. Every nursing degree? Like a doctorate degree? If you have a doctorate degree in nursing, that's not a professional degree? An RN degree is not a professional degree? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Do you realize how hard it is to get that degree? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. How can that not be a professional degree? If you get a master's in nursing, you can teach. You can teach other nurses. That makes no sense. LPN for sure, yeah. They started phasing out LPN a long time ago. I'm surprised that's even a thing still. But RN, absolutely professional. Now, LPN, I worked my butt off for my LPN. I worked my butt off for LPN, but I get why, because when you're an LPN, there are a lot of things that you can't do unless you're being supervised by an RN. So I can understand why that one. Um, yeah, nurses are at the bedside. Nurses do all the work. Nurses pick up on any change in the patient. The nurse is the one that calls the doctor. Doctors can't do their job without a nurse. If the nurse doesn't call the doctor to tell the doctor that the something's happened to the patient, like the doctors come in at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning for like 15 minutes and see their patient. That's it. The rest of the day, the nurses are with the patient. That's crazy. I had a patient one time, and some of you may have heard this story before. Um, she had a PIC line put in, which is an IV that goes in your arm, but it instead of just being like in your arm, like a little tiny thing in your arm, it goes all the way up and around to like right outside your heart. And it's not supposed to go in your heart, just right outside of it. So I had this one patient that she gets an irregular heartbeat sometimes. And so we know that it's on her chart. We monitor for that frequently. And to put that kind of an IV in, you have to have special training. So there's a special team that does it. So this nurse came and did it. And she was my patient that night, but I wasn't there because the PIC team is supposed to be specially trained for this. You know, I shouldn't have to stand over her and make sure she does it right. I'm not trained to do it. She's trained to do it. So she put the PIC line in her heart, and her heart rate went up to like, I forgot what it was, over 200. And so the nurse realized she screwed up. She pulled the PIC line back out of her heart to where it was supposed to go, and her heart rate didn't go down. So she goes, "Does your heart usually do that?" And her mom was sitting right there next to her. She was like 15, 16. And they're like, "Yeah, it happens sometimes, usually only when I get the pick, if it's not done right." And she goes, "Oh, well, it's in the right place now. You'll be fine." And then leaves the room. So they call me in there, and I and they tell me what happened, and I look at her monitor, and she's like 200 and something, and I'm like, "Oh my God." And she looks fine, but she's fine right now. And I was like, "Oh my God." So I went up to the nurse's station, and I'm calling doctors. It's change of shift. Nobody is calling me back. Nobody. So I see this third year resident down the hall who is not even on rotation to work on the floor because he's on his like research year. They have like a year where they're on the floor, where they're like slaves, and then they have, I don't remember what they do the second year. The third year is like research, and then the fourth year they come back and they're like in charge of like the first year slave doctors. So he's on his research year, but he's on the floor for some reason down the hall talking to somebody. So I can't get any of the doctors to come out of the doctor's lounge. I don't know what they're doing, change of shift or something. So I run down the hall and he's talking to somebody. So I'm just standing there. And he goes, "Do you need me?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, I'm just standing there. He goes, "Do you need me now?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Okay, what's going on?" And I told him. And he goes, "I'm sorry, I have to go." And we go running down the hall. And he went in there and checked on her, and she was fine except for the heart rate. And then he went into the room, the doctor's lounge. I swear every doctor on that floor was in her room. I could hear him yelling at them with the door closed in the doctor's lounge. And then he came out of the room and he yelled at me. I was not offended, but he goes, "Next time you need a doctor, you say, 'I need you now.'" Like, okay. And then the next day, he called. He called me. Like he called and asked to speak to me, and he said, "I'm sorry I yelled at you yesterday. You did a really good job. You did the right thing. But next time that you need a doctor, you say, 'I need you now.'" So she ended up going to the ICU that night, and she wanted me to come with. She didn't want to leave the floor. She wanted me to be her nurse that night. She didn't trust anyone else to be her nurse that night, and she wanted me to go to the ICU with her. I said, "I can't go to the ICU with you. I have to work here." He said, "Well, why can't I stay here and you be my nurse all night?" They want you to go to the ICU. But she came back the next night. The next night I was her nurse and everything was fine. But yeah, that was a weird night. But yeah, the nurses do all the work. The nurse, literally. And a lot of times we know what needs to be done, but we can't do it without a doctor's order. So that's ridiculous, man. I'm glad I'm not a nurse anymore because I would be raising a stink about that. I mean, I am still a nurse. I'm just not a working nurse. That's stupid. But yeah, I had another doctor that I called in the middle because they put me. Remember how I told you I was different before my cancer? They put me on night shift because there's less work on night shift. I was super, super timid. Super, super, super timid. Um, so I had this one doctor, and I was firm with him because he pissed me off. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and this kid had brain surgery, and he was just. I mean, yeah, it's the middle of the night, but you're supposed to wake up when someone tries to wake you up. When you have brain surgery, they have to come in and wake you up every 2 hours to make sure that you can wake up. I mean, it makes sense, right? You've had brain surgery. So he wasn't waking up. And when he finally did wake up, he wasn't making sense. So I was like, oh crap. Now I gotta call a doctor in the middle of the night, which I hated to do anyway, but you have to do it. Because it says on the chart, call the doctor if there's any mental status changes. So I called the doctor and I said, your patient has mental status changes. What do you want me to do about it? What do you mean, what do I want you to do about it?
Not knowing what information that they have already assembled when it's time for us to be able to inquire.
Your Honor, let me just quickly respond to that. First of all, I'm a little concerned by listening to my brother counsel read from what looks like a scripted message that doesn't seem to deal with any issues because there's been no motion to compel that's been served on us relating to those answers. There's been nothing filed with the court. Instead, my brother counsel is reading from a script for what I'm guessing is some other purpose. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to just
Attorney Waters, excuse me for interrupting, but maybe we'll take this as a 9C conference. You heard what he's looking for. What do you say to it?
Your Honor, actually, I don't know what he's talking about, to be candid. I think that Karen's statements have been consistent, and they're certainly consistent with the lawsuit that's been filed in Bristol County. So my brother counsel is going to have to be more specific about what he thinks is inconsistent. I don't think it is at all. And that's usually why motion practice is a good idea.
Attorney Diller, I guess we'll consider the 9C conference conducted and file whatever motion you want to file.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anyone from, what's the status of the discovery with CNC Hospitality and GNS? Attorney Diller, did you receive responses?
I did. Well, both parties had reached out to us over the history of this case. We may have propounded that discovery even before, while the criminal matter was going on, maybe around the time of the stay. But they then reached out to us at separate occasions and were very upfront about the fact that they're compiling discovery and needed more time. We allowed that additional time. Yesterday, we received some discovery, which I think I indicated to you, I have not reviewed yet, but we have received discovery from both bars. One bar, and forgive me for not recognizing which one is which, one bar may have sent me some preliminary discovery a couple weeks ago and then supplemented it yesterday. The other bar sent me a batch of discovery yesterday, none of which have I had an opportunity at this stage to review.
Okay. Anyone else want to offer anything on behalf of any of the parties?
Yeah.
Attorney Hassett on here for Waterfall?
Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Hassett for Waterfall.
Afternoon. Do you want to offer anything?
Your Honor, I would just say that with respect to the discovery, we have in fact responded to the plaintiff's discovery after an extension was granted. We did the interrogatory answers. Those have been complete. The document responses were, as Attorney Diller indicated, in 2 stages. We completed that as well. We have yet to propound discovery ourselves at this point. Obviously, there's a history in this case that occurred on through 2 criminal trials. It was our approach to see what documents were produced from the various keeper depositions and the other document requests among the parties. And then from there, after looking through the documents, make a decision as to what more pointed interrogatory answers we would propound. And as was indicated earlier, we've got a fairly lengthy discovery on a average tracking order, which permits discovery through next August. So in terms of our own discovery and our plan on propounding it, we were hopeful that we'd be able to wade through some of the voluminous documents first.
Next
Who's here
August?
for McCarthy's? Is it Attorney
Good
Smith?
God.
Clerk Donovan, is Attorney Smith?
She
In the
is,
meeting?
yeah.
That would
Attorney
be the right.
Smith.
Yes, Your Honor, I asked her
Yeah.
to unmute.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Tamara Smith for CF McCarthy's. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Yes, as has been stated, we did produce several hundred pages of documents yesterday, have responded fully to the plaintiff's answers, to the plaintiff's interrogatory requests. And like counsel for Waterfall, there's, as indicated in this call today, over 1 million or about 1 million pages and documents that are forthcoming. So the thought here would be to see what
A
is there so
million?
that there's not duplication of effort and additional requests put out that are already answered by what is already forthcoming.
Okay. Anything else from Ms. Reed's side, Mr. Waters?
Nothing from our side, Your Honor. Thank you.
Attorney Diller, anything else from the plaintiffs?
No, I think that, but I do expect that we will convene a 9C amongst all the parties after this to discuss what efforts, if any, will be made to consolidate discovery on the other pending matter, only to ensure that we not worry about there being information that is discovered in the other case relevant to our case, which would prejudice us if we're not privy to.
Well, it's great you're trying to agree to something, but again, I think it's difficult to have an agreement without knowing who's going to be involved in the other case, who the attorneys are. Attorney Waters, what's the status of the notice to the governmental entities?
Yeah, you talking about the presentment letters, Your Honor?
Yes.
I think if they weren't sent yesterday, they'll be being sent today. And we've had conversations with both counsel for those entities about having a shortened presentment period. We expect agreement on that. I got my fingers crossed, but we expect agreement on that, in which case we won't be delayed in processing whatever procedural or motions that those parties want to make in that Bristol County case.
What's the status on the service on the individual defendants in the Bristol case?
The answer is I don't know, Your Honor. I haven't received information where we've gotten good service, and if we've not gotten it, I expect to get it shortly. My colleague Aaron Rosenberg can specify to that.
Your Honor, we've got counsel for, I believe, 2 of the individual defendants in the Bristol County case. One counsel has already agreed to accept service. The other counsel suggested that he will. We're just going back and forth, so we're hopeful we'll be able to get acceptance from the majority of those defendants and only have to serve a couple. So we don't foresee any delays on that front.
I feel like we missed a lot.
Attorney Diller, you talked about consolidation. Attorney Waters said they weren't going to move it this time. You, Attorney Diller, intend on moving to consolidate at this point?
We had discussed with, so The answer is yes, for purposes of discovery only, just to the extent that that works itself out. There was discussion during that entire motion practice that took place over the last 2 months. The counsel for these other parties had all reached out. So we have spoken with all of the counsel who were involved in the Bristol case because they were apparently going to be brought into this case. So there was that discussion with them. So I do know who that counsel is. I have the briefing from those counsel. There was discussion within some of the briefing that it should be consolidated for purposes of discovery purposes. I don't know where things stand because it's now outside in the Bristol case, but I do expect that there's awareness of who all the lawyers are, and we could potentially discuss options. It, obviously we had wanted this to all resolve itself months ago, and unfortunately it wasn't until Monday night that the defendants withdrew their motion and started on a different track with a different mindset. But we will happily be proactive in trying to get that moving in the best direction for our case in the wrongful death case.
How much time do you think that would take?
Well, what I don't know, Your Honor, is whether some of the parties are going to move to dismiss in the Bristol case and whether that will hold up the discovery there. That's the big unknown. So I wish I had that crystal ball, and I don't today, but I anticipate that there are some overlapping parties that may stay in the Bristol case, to which we'll need discovery there, and that discovery will overlap. I want to be clear that we're agreeing for discovery purposes to avoid prejudice. We are tabling whether or not these matters need to be tried together. That will only be known once we have full understanding of what comes out in discovery.
Okay. Well, let's pick a date in December so we can find out where the Bristol action is at and find out what other discovery issues remain so we can try and sort through those. Do you anticipate filing a motion to compel, Attorney Diller?
Yeah, the interrogatory answer, yes.
Okay, so let's pick a date for that. A date in December. When can you have the motion served?
We can start working on that right away. Within probably the Tuesday after Thanksgiving is my is what I believe we could shoot for.
Okay, that's December 2nd. Gives the defendant till December 12th. Let's pick a date the next week. We'll have a hearing on the motion to compel and a further status hearing.
Well, what's in Bristol?
How about December 18th? An issue for anyone?
Your Honor, it is for me. I have a pre-existing hearing scheduled that day, but the 16th and the 17th, I'm open.
All right. How about
If I
the
could,
16th or the 17th?
if I could have just a moment, Your Honor, to confer with my client. The 16th and 17th don't work for Ms. Reed. Either the 18th, I know that that's bad for Mr. Waters, the 19th would work.
19th works for
Attorney
me.
Jackson. Attorney Jackson, I can understand Ms. Reed wants to be there at every matter, but I don't necessarily think there are constitutional issues relative to the civil case.
I agree. I'm not suggesting that she has a constitutional right to be there, but I know that she wishes to participate in her own defense, and she would like to be there if we can accommodate her schedule.
Right, but if the court starts having to accommodate every party's schedule, it would grind the courts to a halt.
I understand. I get that. there's only one defendant though. So for what that's
Well,
worth.
there are other defendants in this case.
Your Honor, for what it's worth, I can also do December 19th.
Will it be remote, Your Honor, by Zoom? I have things that week, but if it's going to be remote by Zoom, then I can try to, I can definitely be available and then not worry about moving things around on the week of the 15th.
What do we have that day? 19th. Hang on
The
one second. I
wrongful
have to have
death
the clerk
suit
check
is
something.
only one defendant. What is he talking about?
Yes, Your Honor?
No, I'm checking the schedule here, Clerk Donovan.
Schedule there, okay.
Keep Friday, we just have, basically the morning, Your Honor. Afternoon's wide open.
Okay. How about 2 o'clock on December 19th? We'll schedule it virtually for now.
Thank you.
That works, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, we'll see everyone then. Thank you.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you, Your Honor.
Okay, so just for the record, this matter is continued to December 19th, 2025 at 2 p.m. for the motion to compel and further status, and this hearing will be held by Zoom at this point in time. Thank you all.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
Well, that was annoying. Now, is someone going to come on and explain what just happened? No. I know. There's more than one defendant. No, there's not. Not for the wrongful death, there's not. Yeah, I'm going to be this way in a little while. I got things to do first, though. No, no, just her for the wrongful death. Now, Turtle Boy is in the defamation case, but this, I'm not looking at that. I thought I had notes on this somewhere. I don't. But this isn't for the defamation case. This is the status hearing on the wrongful death case. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, she isn't the only defendant. That's right. The bars, too. I forgot about them. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the bars, too. So I was thinking because I was thinking that they were thinking Turtle Boy was a defendant, too. No, he's not. It's the bars, too. Shoot. But still, I mean, why can't they arrange it? I know, I did too. I did the same thing, Haley. I did the same thing. I was like, no, it's not. It's only her. Even though they were right there in the meeting. No, they're not suing the parents. They're doing the bars for not overcharging, over-serving. Is that what it's called? Over-serving or something? But I mean, is that really a thing? I mean, like, aren't bartenders trained to, like, No, when someone's too drunk, because like if you get pulled over and they check your, I don't know why. I guess I'm just tired. I'm not able to find words right now. This is fibromyalgia, y'all. I'm tired and I can't think of words. Um, breathalyzer. If you do a breathalyzer and you get your um whatever you blow, that doesn't change, right, from person to person. But let's say you're someone that is used to drinking and you don't get drunk as easily as someone else. You know what I mean? Like you have a tolerance built up to it. You could go to a bar and drink and seem like you're totally sober, and that bartender's going to keep giving you drinks, right? They're going to base it on how you act. Like they're not going to give you a breathalyzer at a bar. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. Like if you're used to drinking, you're not going to act like you're over the limit if you have built up like a tolerance to it. So how is a bartender to know? And how is a bartender to know that you're gonna drive? Like if you're there with somebody else, I don't know because I'm not a drinker. So yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Nobody of all the people that testified, nobody said that she looked like she was drunk. Nobody. And she was with people. So how can you assume that she's gonna go get out in the car and drive? Are the bartenders supposed to question everybody they give a drink to? Are you gonna drive home? No, you can't ask someone that because they'll lie. That's crazy. I don't, I'm like, I was looking at that lawyer and I was thinking, you are a scumbag for taking this case. But, right, like, who's gonna say, oh yeah, I'm driving with like weaving and slurring their speech, and yeah, I'm gonna drive home. Yeah, they were all drinking that night, and she's the only one that is charged with a DUI of all of those people. She's the only one charged. Yeah, everybody allowed her to get behind the wheel. Everybody. In fact, what if, I mean, we know it didn't happen this way, but what if John had been the one driving and got out of the car and then she got behind the wheel? Then whose fault would it have been that she drove drunk? I mean, like I said, I know it didn't happen that way, but I'm just saying, for instance, it's just, I used to go out, but I knew I had to drive, so I drank one drink and that's it. And then I drank just soda the rest of the night. But I don't understand suing a bar for giving people alcohol. That's what they're for. And it's up to the person that's drinking to be responsible. It's like the dumbest thing ever created is drive-through liquor stores. We have one. My stepdaughter used to work at one. I was like, I really don't like you working there because it's a liquor store and you're there alone at night and I don't like you working. But why? Why do they have drive-through liquor stores? That's the dumbest creation ever. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't get it. That's why people go there to drink. I mean, they should have some type of a special deal with Uber or Lyft or a taxi company or something like that to prevent people driving drunk home from bars. But to sue a bar for wrongful death, I think is ridiculous because whoever dies, which now, don't get me wrong, I'm very against drunk driving. Well, it's fine if you're gonna drink it at home if you're responsible, but not everybody's responsible. But I don't think you should sue the bar. Like whoever is driving drunk and see, innocent people get killed by drunk drivers. It's usually not the drunk driver that gets killed. And yeah, I would be mad at the bar too, but that's not the bar's fault. It's the person that drove drunk. Yeah, it's never gonna end. Because so we thought it was done when she got off on murder. Then we had the wrongful death suit, and now we have the defamation suit, and then we've got the 1983 civil suit. It's never gonna end. This is gonna be years. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I can get that. Haley, you spelled pajamas wrong. That's the British way. I'm just picking on you. I love Haley's accent. She sounds like right out of a Harry Potter book. You know, I'm just playing. I don't know. I feel so bad for her. I cannot imagine they. I mean, her dad's interview that I saw on Lawyer You Know yesterday. He's like, she's traveling and hanging out with friends, but mostly she's working on her case. And I'm glad that she's got some semblance of a life left, but they ruined her life. You know, if it had been an accident in the house, like if they did get in a fight and he fell and hit his head, why didn't they just call 911? Why did they have to do all this? I don't know. You know, like, what was it, Judy? Were you the one that we were talking and said that? Because we were talking about Dever and the Boston police chief saying that he didn't know anything about the Karen Reed case. And see, this was my first thought, that there was some kind of a fight. They didn't, like, it wasn't a planned attack or anything like that. It was kind of some kind of fight. And then the dog got involved and he somehow fell and hit his head. And they didn't realize that he was gone. They thought he was just hurt. And they put him outside in the snow and he died. That's what I thought at first. And I thought, not really like a planned cover up, let's blame Karen, that it just kind of happened that way. But then Judy and I were talking, I think it was Judy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Judy. It might have been someone else, but I thought it was you. Um, because of the thing with Dever and that whole messed up story about the false memory, what she told the FBI and all that. And then the chief of police, I think it was the chief of police, that said, or the captain, or whoever he was, that said that he didn't know anything about the Karen Reed case and didn't know that Dever was connected to the Karen Reed case. Basically, he just bald-faced lied about it. And we were thinking that maybe there was some corruption because when John adopted his niece and nephew, they put him, he was on like a desk job, like a safer job, because they didn't want him to be um in a dangerous position because of the kids. They didn't want the kids to lose another parent because they'd already lost two. So they put him in a safer position. So he was like a desk job. And I guess he found out, well, this was what me and Judy, I think it was me and Judy, that we think that maybe he found out about some corruption or something that was going on and was going to blow the whistle. And Brian Albert was maybe um involved in that corruption and wanted to silence John. He said that in a press conference just after Dever testified. AJ has sent a letter to the Attorney General asking for an investigation. I think AJ is asking for him to be added to the Brady list. Yeah. So that's why I think, and I don't know how or why Dever went from Canton police to Boston police. I don't know if she wanted that on her own or if someone suggested that she go to Boston. Like, I don't know how that all came about. But AJ sent a letter wanting to put her on the Brady list, and then he sent a letter to the Attorney General because the what's his face? What's his name? I can't remember his name. The chief of police dude said that he say he never met with her, or he never met with her about Karen Reed? I think he did it in a slick way where it wasn't a complete lie. Because he said he never met with her about Karen Reed, I think. I remember us talking about that a long time ago, but I thought we also talked about maybe some corruption in Boston PD. Is that you or somebody else? Well, drug trafficking would be the same thing. It would be corruption too. Because if cops are doing it, that's corruption. Okay, that's what he said. He didn't deny having a meeting with her, but didn't know she was involved in the Karen Reed case. So Yeah, I think John had evidence of something. But the thing about Jen trying to get Karen away from him that night and like getting her to ride with her over there, that's fishy. But do we like, is it coincidence or was she really trying to get them separate? That's the thing that haunts me because everything else seems so contrived. Like her getting up and going to the door so many times, like looking for them. And then all of a sudden, they're not there. And what does she do? Nothing. So what is going on with Higgins? Was he on that, whatever that thing was that they did where they talked to reporters and everything after it was all over saying that they weren't involved? Was Higgins in that little group? I know Jen, Matt, Brian, and Jen's sister, I don't know, Coco, whatever. They did that, but was Higgins on that little press tour thing that they did? I can't remember. Of course they're going to tell the press, though. We didn't have anything. He wasn't? Okay. I can't remember if he was or not. Of course they're going to tell the press they didn't do anything. But Alan Jackson was in that garage, and I swear that looked like a blood stain. Of course, other things can look like blood too. There's no guarantee that that was blood, but it looked like a blood stain. And it was on a little like ledge thing where it could have cracked the skull. But I hope, I feel bad for Karen still going through all this stuff, but I'm hoping with that defamation case that stuff comes out because Peter said more things, since it's a civil case, more things will be discoverable than was in the criminal case. So if more things are discoverable, hopefully things that were said in the criminal case will be proven to be false. They'll be able to get records and stuff if they still exist, though. It was so long ago. Like, wasn't it Allie McCabe? Is it Allie McCabe, Jen's daughter, that was good friends with Colin, that supposedly picked Colin up from the house before John got there? That's the thing that's in question because we think Colin was there, right? So, Nichelle, are you still here? Because Nichelle hasn't seen that trial. Oh, yeah. I I have to make a Disney video this weekend. I was gonna do a members only live. Oh, bye, Haley. It was nice seeing you. Come by more often. Um, so Michelle, John O'Keefe, they went out to 2 bars that night. So she has been being sued for the wrongful death of John O'Keefe because they went out to 2 different bars and then they drove to Brian Albert's house, who was at the bar with them, the second bar, and they had like an after party at his house. And she dropped him off there. He was supposed to come back out and let her know if they were going to stay, and he never came back out. And then she got mad because he didn't come back out. And then she went home to his house. They didn't live together. And she woke up at like 5 in the morning and he wasn't there. And immediately she thought because his niece was at home and he would have never not come home with the kids at home. His nephew, he adopted his niece and nephew because their parents died. So his nephew was at a friend's house spending the night, but his niece was there. And so she went home and she was mad at him and left a bunch of nasty voicemails because she was pissed off. And the house that the after party was at was near one of his ex-girlfriend's house. So then she started to think that he was over there cheating on her. So then she was yelling at him on the voicemail, I hate you, you're a pervert, blah, blah, blah. So they think that was the motive for murder and that she actually hit him with her car when she left. So they tried to say she hit him and left him to die in the snow, then went back to his house and made left voicemails for him saying that she hated him, even though that she knew he was dead in the snow that she'd left him there. Which, no, she did not. All the science, they did all kinds of scientific tests and stuff and proved that a car never hit this man. So now his brother and his family are suing her for wrongful death, even though a jury of 12 people found her not guilty. And the jury before that in the first trial was a hung jury. So, man, I wish you'd seen it. It was a good trial. Both of them were good trials. But the judge was corrupt. The prosecutor in the first trial was corrupt. The prosecutor in the second trial was not a prosecutor. He was a defense attorney that they hired as a special prosecutor for the second trial. He was a mob lawyer. He was Whitey Bulger's lawyer. So, the whole thing was Karen says she saw him go in the house, but everybody denies him going in the house. But there's also all kinds of conspiracy theories. So there's one, so this happened in January. In New Year's Eve, they went to Aruba, I think. Was it Aruba, Judy? And he had a godson. And he was like, this kid's family was like his family. And they invited him to go on this New Year's vacation with them to Aruba. And he met them there. And not the mother of his godson, but her sister, he gave her a hug. And Karen happened to walk into the lobby of the hotel while they were hugging. And she flipped out and was like, who the F are you? And screamed bloody murder at this woman. And then they got a huge fight because she thought John was cheating. She always thought John was cheating on her. Like, she didn't kill him, but she was extremely insecure. Like, they had a toxic relationship. It was not a good relationship. But that doesn't mean she killed him, but they kept trying to use that as a motive. That fight on New Year's Eve. And this happened when in January? It was like the end of January. It was like weeks later. And all of us, and they were like fine. In fact, that day they had been texting back and forth, and there was something wrong with her. I think it was her water heater, and she had hired a plumber to come over. And John was jealous of the plumber. He's like, "Why didn't you just let me and Pop come over and fix it? Is the plumber hot?" Like, he was jealous of the plumber that was coming to her house to fix her water heater. So they just had this kind of toxic back and forth, jealous type of relationship. That was just the way they were. But they weren't breaking up. They were all lovey-dovey at the bar that night. In fact, one couple that they were friends with, the guy in the couple, like, his wife said, "Why can't you treat me like that?" Like, he got in trouble with his wife because they were so lovey-dovey, and she's like, "Why can't you treat me like that?" So no one saw anything wrong with their relationship that night. Everything was fine. But to kind of like get back at John for hugging that girl in Aruba or wherever it was, she started flirting with one of John's friends. And then she blew him off. Like, she actually even kissed the guy at John's house in front of a security camera that they had. And she knew, yeah, late January. I just can't remember the date, January 29th. So she kissed this guy, and they read all these text messages in court, both trials. The actual guy himself, Brian Higgins, he read them in the first trial. They didn't call him for the second trial. One of the cops read it in the second trial. These back and forth flirty texts between the two of them. And then finally, she quit texting him. I think after the kiss in front of the security camera, and then John saw it. I think she just did it to make him jealous. So one of the theories is that Brian Higgins was at the house. Well, he was at the house that night, but that um, he started the fight with John over Karen. That he fought John over Karen, and that he either fell or someone hit him in the back of the head. Whatever, I don't know. That's one of the theories. The other theory is Colin, who is Chris Albert's son, who is Brian Albert's brother. Brian Albert owned the house that they were at. That he was dealing drugs, and John O'Keefe found out about it, and there was a fight between them. I mean, there's all these different. It's like we know the people involved, but we don't know exactly what happened because it happened in that house, and they're all lying, and we don't know. But you can tell that they're lying. Um, I've got. Well, you're not a member. I've got some members only video of Jen McCabe, because she did nothing but lie. And there's one of Trooper Paul, because they're Alan Jackson is asking him questions about. Trooper Paul was supposed to be the scene reconstructionist, and Alan Jackson was asking him questions about physics, like easy physics questions, like high school physics. I failed high school physics, and I was answering the questions as he was asking them, and I was getting the right answers. And this guy was like, he couldn't even answer basic physics questions. And he was like, it just did. And Alan Jackson goes, it just did, huh? He was like, yeah, it just did. It was, the first trial was like, it was such a joke. It was hilarious. And where is my coffee cup with that? Hang on. I watched the first trial on Legal Bites channel, and this is going to be backwards, but they put the blood evidence in red Solo cups. So Alita had cups made for her channel, and it says important evidence, do not tamper. It's a red Solo cup. It has her logo in the middle of it, but important evidence, do not tamper. And I had to get it. I was like, I've got to get this cup. And then when I opened it up, Travis was like, another coffee cup. Exactly what you need. I was like, oh, look. And he started laughing. He goes, okay, you can keep that one. Which one was Welcher? Why am I drawing? Like, I recognize the name, but why am I drawing a blank on who he was? That's not the one that. That's not the one that lied on his resume. Oh, that guy. Was he in trial one? He wasn't in trial one, was he? He was just in trial two, right? Blue paint guy. Jeez. That dude was a joke. The very first time this guy, Michelle, he put blue paint. He put blue paint on the car and like had the driver go really, really slow, and he like leaned into the car and got blue paint on his arm to show where the car would have hit. But like he didn't stand there and let the car hit him. He just like rammed in the. I was like, that's a scientific test. How much did you pay for that? The whole thing, it was like a circus. It was like, let's just make up stuff and call it science. Oh man, it was. It's always going to be, what does King call it? The Mount Rushmore of trials. That's always going to be up there. Always. Because unless, I don't think anything could get any stranger. I was going to say, unless something more weird happens, I don't think it can get any stranger than that. It's just, but I've got if you have time, because it's a long trial, but I've got a playlist for the whole thing. But I've got some members only stuff on where I just picked out the more ridiculous parts of the trial that we just looked at for fun on members only streams. And I'm gonna do a members only on what did you send me, Judy? The counter suit on the defamation, right? It's a bunch of pages long. We'll probably do that next weekend because I have to make another video. My cooking video. Michelle, did you hear me ask the question about my cooking video? Because I don't know. I've never done a cooking video before. Have you ever made a cooking video? Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot by doing this. I think if it was me, I'd be like, oh, glad that's over. And just kept my mouth shut and been like, good, we got away with it. Okay, I'm making, Disney has cheeseburger spring rolls. So it's basically an egg roll with ground beef in it. Oh, maybe I should watch some before I try to make one of my own. Um, my only question is, I'm gonna have to watch some videos, I guess, before I try to do this. But I have to make the ground beef to go into the egg rolls. So should I film cooking the ground beef or should I just cook it ahead of time and then like have it in the ingredients on the table that I'm gonna put in the egg roll? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research. I hate research. Yeah, I know that much. I just didn't want to have to make it twice. I guess I could make, because the recipe makes 10. So I guess I could make like half ahead of time and then have them ready to go and then like I don't know. They have cheeseburger ones and they have pizza ones. I was gonna do both. I don't know if I'm gonna do. It depends. I hate to cook. I hate to cook. But the reason I'm doing it is because I have a Disney channel now that only has one video. And I'm not going back to Disney until January, and I feel the need to put another video up. And these things, I swear, I've had them, they're good, but people are like in love with these things. All it is ground beef and cheese and onions in an egg roll wrapper. I mean, it's good, but I mean, it's not like everybody's like, this is amazing. I'm like, okay, whatever. Oh, that's cool. Well, I put this in the other room. I got another tripod. I have the little one that I'm using now for the phone, but I got another one. If I put it on the desk, it's about, yeah, like it's about this high, which is why it doesn't work for the webcam because it's up too high. Like you don't see my head 'cause, um, or maybe I forgot. It cut off something. It didn't frame me right because it wasn't whatever. Anyway, but I got to thinking about it because Travis was like, "Well, you better keep it because you might end up needing it for something." He's so supportive. He has been so supportive with all this YouTube crap. Even though I'm not really making any money, I've made a little over $300. That's all I've made this year. And he is still so supportive. He has spent so much money on this for me, y'all. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. He's amazing. I don't know what I did to get so blessed with him. Anyway, so he said keep it because you might need it for something. And I think I can put the iPad in it instead of it being like this. I think I can do it where it'll like lay down so it can see what I'm doing. And then um, with this program that I do, what I can do is I can have it, even though I can't see the screen because it'll be facing down, I can have it where it mirrors what I'm doing on my laptop. And I can put the laptop on the table and then have the iPad recording down and I can see what I'm doing. So, and that's why I quit doing my crochet channel because I could never get my hands and what I was doing in frame. I couldn't see what I was doing. And that's how I found this app that makes your phone a webcam, which worked out great for me. Well, it's like I said, I've had this app for like 3 years, and it told me this morning that my free trial ran out, and I had to pay $8. But so I don't have to buy a webcam now because this works out great. I like it like this. This is much better than the iPad that kept falling down and doing weird stuff, and so. And I still look like I'm looking up a little bit, but at least it's still in line with the screen, the monitor. So, okay. I love it when you guys just hang out with me and I'm just rambling and being myself. And it makes me feel better about, even though I don't have a big channel, it's like I have friends that just like to hang out with me. I love it. You guys are so cool. So, I guess that's it for this week. Yeah, I could. I gotta clean up my kitchen and this table. You guys, this table, that's craft stuff. And a jacket. My dining room table's become my craft room. Yeah, maybe, Marty. Maybe you'll be here. You're always here. I have to clean out that table. So, and I gotta do my nails because my nails are. And then I go to the dermatologist next month, and so I have to have my nails off for that, so they can see that I have psoriasis on my nails, which is why I think why my fake nails don't stay on anymore. I never know if you're gonna be here or not, Marty. I'm just waiting. Oh, your birthday! Oh, happy birthday. Yeah, you might be hungover. If you get mean when you're hungover, you should probably not be here. No, I'm in my dining room. I have a bedroom that I want to turn into an office, but my stepdaughters need to come get all their crap out of there. Jill keeps telling me just to put it out just to put it outside and tell them to come get it. But she doesn't know my stepdaughters. I can't do that. I will live to regret that. I will live to regret it. They are not nice. So why are you going to do it this year? My brother's a friendly drunk. I don't know if he still drinks or not. My sister-in-law used to threaten him every year. She said, if you're not sober by our anniversary, there won't be another anniversary. And she never followed through with it. Like, she never even left, like, even pretend to leave. Yeah, he's not going to do it if you don't follow through with the threat. So I don't know if he ever quit drinking or not. But that's like the only time he ever tells me that he loves me or I'm pretty or anything like that. It's only when he's drunk. I don't have anything to do with him. Okay, guys. Oh, it really wasn't fun. It was a Zoom thing, and NBC 10 out of wherever in Massachusetts that covers all the Karen Reed stuff had the Zoom link, but they didn't turn it on for like the first half of it, and by the time they turned it on, it was very little of anything. They were talking about a Bristol case. I know. And half the time, Boston. Thank you, Judy. And half the time you couldn't tell who was talking because there was one, like, square that there was, like, three lawyers at a big conference table and they were so far away from the camera, you couldn't even see them. And then there was some lady on the bottom that I don't know who she was. She was in her car. I guess it was just some interested party that had the Zoom link. And she just kept coming on and off, on and off, on and off. I'm like, lady, what are you doing? Alan Jackson was there. The only person I recognized was Alan Jackson. Karen wasn't there, but then when they went to make a date for the next one, he said, let me confer with my client, and then immediately said, oh, she's not available on that date. So I don't know if she was, it looked like he was in an office, so I don't know if she was there on FaceTime with him or on the phone or what. I know, I hate it. I hate it. I wish after COVID was over, I wish that they had gone back to it all being live. Because there's too many people now that like they're supposed to appear in person and they don't. They get on Zoom. Why is there even a Zoom link if they have to appear in person? How do they get the Zoom link? I don't understand. I don't know who that was. There were so many people there I didn't know who they were. I'm like, who are all these people? Why are they all here? But yeah, there was all kinds of lawyers there. There was one for CF McCarthy. No, two for CF McCarthy's and one for Waterfall, or vice versa. And then Alan Jackson was there for Karen, and then the one for the O'Keefes. And then there were other people that I didn't know who they were. So, and they were talking about there's a motion to compel for some discovery that they're gonna do on December 19th. And then there was something about a Bristol case that I don't know what they're talking about. Bristol. I didn't see her. But Alan Jackson was like, let me confer with my client, and then immediately came back with, she's not available that day. So I don't know where she was. And he looked like he was in his office. So I don't think she was in his office. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like the woman that kept popping in and out at the bottom that was like in her car. And then there was another guy that looked like he was sitting in his house. So I don't know. Okay, well, I mean, they were talking about consolidating cases. What cases are they consolidating? Because this is the wrongful death suit. This isn't about the defamation or does it, the intimidation. Like, they can't consolidate that with the wrongful death suit, can they? What else can they consolidate the wrongful death suit with? No, they said more than one defendant. And there is more than one person in there. It's, oh, what is his name? John's brother. Forgot his name. Oh, okay. So he wants, okay, so that's why he was talking about the government officials involved. Okay. How can you I'm so confused. How can you consolidate the 1983 case with, what is John's brother's name? I forgot his name. He's suing, he and his parents, because they're not letting his niece sue anymore, right? They took her off the case. So, Paul, jeez, why can't I remember that? I thought they took his niece off of it, though. Didn't they say they took her off of it? Anyway, they're suing. Okay, so this is who is suing Karen, C.F. McCarthy's, and the Waterfall. They're suing Karen and the two bars. How can they consolidate that with Karen suing the government in the 1983 case? If they're suing her, how does that consolidate with her suing the government? Oh, just the IED part. No, 1983 is what the action is called. It's not the year 1983. That's when you sue the government. This is a very simplistic because I'm not a lawyer. Um, it's when you sue the government for violating your civil rights. No, 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 no. I want you to understand. I wish you'd seen it. You'd understand. But I'm trying to, I know you haven't seen the trial. I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. It's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people. I also have, um, under the posts on the YouTube, on my YouTube page, there's a couple of charts that tell who everybody involved is in the case too. So, if you get confused at all the names, I have two different ones, I think, because one's better than the other. Um, no, that's what it's called, a 1983 case or something. I don't know. Um, and it's where you sue the government or government officials, I guess not the government itself, but government officials for violating your civil rights. Um, I get the names mixed up all the time, and they're all related to each other somehow. So the kids all look alike. I'm always calling the wrong person the wrong name or the wrong kid to the wrong parents, and so finally somebody was like, someone needs to make a chart, and I went, oh wait, somebody did, and I found it and I put it on my page. So there's two charts. I don't remember who made them, so I don't even know if I knew at one time and gave credit or not, but they're there because like, we need a roadmap because this is just too many people. Um, the ones I remember the most are Jen McCabe, because that woman is evil. Man, you can just look at her and um and it was so funny because in the second in the second trial, when she got up on the stand, she seemed so much nicer, so much sweeter, like a normal little soccer mom. And who cross it was it AJ? It had to have been AJ that cross examined her again. Had to have been. And he got up there and he goes, I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was something like, were you advised by your attorney or the Commonwealth or anyone to tone it down? I don't remember how he worded it, but he made it very obvious to the jury that her demeanor was different in this trial than it was in the last trial. And I thought that was genius that he did that because I remember thinking that the jury is seeing a completely different Jennifer McCabe than they saw in the last trial. And I was just like, oh my God, what has happened to her? She was like a different person. And the fact that he did that, I was like, yes, I shouldn't have been worried. I mean, he's such a good lawyer. It should not have worried me, but that was one of the very first questions he asked her. Like, he got right up there and pointed it out to the jury. I love Jeff Foxworthy. I love it. Love, 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 love. One of my favorites is, if your porch were to collapse and it would kill more than 3 dogs, you might be a redneck. That's where I got Belle and Spike from. My neighbors underneath my neighbor's porch. I call both of them rescues. The Amazon driver got lost yesterday and he called me to find out where I live. All I could hear was dogs barking. I knew exactly where he was. I said, Are you up? Are you up at a house on a corner with a lot of dogs?" He's like, "Yeah, that's exactly. I know exactly where you are. Stay there. I'll find you." Oh, another one of my favorites because this is me. If directions to your house start with turn onto the dirt road. Yeah, that's me. Okay, guys. I got 7 people in here. I got lurkers just in here, probably laughing their butt off at me. Oh, what time is it? 4 o'clock. Oh, I gotta get up and do some stuff. You mow your lawn and fly the truck, or a refrigerator, or a washing machine. Yeah, we have a junk pile out there I didn't do it. So, in my defense, I didn't do it. It was Travis. He doesn't take anything to the dump. He's like, they won't take that. Like, what do you mean they won't take that? They won't take it. Well, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to put it in the backyard under that big tree. Why? Because the dump won't take it. Well, somebody's got to take it. You can, where do people dispose of things like that? They take it to the dump. The dump won't take it. Fine. We'll just be rednecks. We'll put all our old dead appliances under the tree in the back. We go to family reunion to hit on women. I love Jay Foxworthy. I like Bill Engvall too. He's funny. Travis loves forgot his name. Cable Guy. Larry the Cable Guy. He loves Larry the Cable Guy. Which he gets on my nerves sometimes. He's a little too redneck for me. But okay. Gotta get up from here and get doing stuff. Alright. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. We're starting Robert Bardo on Monday. Oh, Michelle. Was it you? I think. I believe it. My mom told one of my boyfriends that one time that my daddy had no trouble going to prison for me. Um, were you the one that said that Robert Bardo was asking Rebecca Schaefer's neighbors where she lived and they told him? Someone wrote it in chat, like right as I hit end stream. Was that you? Or Wiggles? Somebody did it, like right as I went in the stream. That Robert Bardo didn't know where she lived and that he was like knocking on doors asking neighbors and they told him. That's insane. That is insane. I mean, though, I guess I guess I would do the same thing because like you're not gonna expect that someone's gonna be knocking on doors and asking you where someone lives so they can do something bad to them. If someone just shoots off their mouth, now that's a little much. But some people are like that, though. Some people are like, don't talk to me that way. But when I was getting images and stuff for the thumbnail, I saw a couple places where it said that her murder actually made it safer for actors and actresses now. So I don't know if and I did an episode on him, so I don't remember them saying anything about any type of new law or anything like that for her because of that murder. So, what did I call this episode? Let me see if I can find it. I'll put a link in the chat. Oh, jeez, am I fat in this? Well, yeah, it used to be in phone books too. You could look up anybody's address in a phone book. Look how fat I was. See? See how much weight I lost? Oh, Amber Heard was in this episode.
Played by Amber Heard, an actress on a TV show about beach volleyball. The next day, as they're getting into the car to go to the airport, the detective gets a call about a murder and asks them if they want to go with him to the crime scene. An
So
actress, Natalie Ryan, and her fiance were.
This is back when I did, like, I recapped a Criminal Minds episode, and then I did a real life crime about it. That's back when I used my, I don't remember if I was using just my phone or if I had my laptop yet. And I was in my bedroom. You can see my CPAP hanging on my bedpost. So that, and there's the link. There's a link for it if you guys want to watch it. You can skip the Criminal Minds part if you just want the part about Robert Bardo. But that's my episode of Robert Bardo. It's hard watching those early ones. I'm proud of some of the more recent episodes that I did, but the early ones are like, ew. Okay, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like I was just looking for pictures, so I didn't read any articles. But a bunch of them said, because like when you look for images, it says a little something about the article they came from. And so a couple of them said, the murder of this actress made Hollywood safer or made actresses safer, or it's worded something like that. And it's like, I wonder what that means. Like if there was some kind of a there's got to be some kind of a privacy law. But like that was back in the 80s. And back then, like your address, unless you asked them not to, your address got published in the phone book. Like it was easy to find addresses back then. So, okay, guys, I will see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will let you know how my cheeseburger spring rolls come out. And if I get the video made and it turns out good, I will show you the link to the video. And that's about it, I guess. I don't know how to say goodbye. I hate saying goodbye. So, okay. Have a good weekend. Be kind to people. Love your family. And Jesus loves you, and so do I. Bye, guys.